Roslyn Williams, speaker,
Yes.
TV personality, very good friend. We met a long time ago.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's a pleasure to see you again, darling.
It's a pleasure to meet you again, to be in your company again.
I am kind of cute, aren't I?
Yes, you are, I must say.
Welcome to the Phoenix Network, darling.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tell us the story of Roslyn. Now, I know here from your one sheet that you are not a native Arizonan.
I'm not.
Where are you from?
Baltimore. Did I hear you say you're from Baltimore?
I was born in Baltimore.
Oh my goodness, where?
Actually, I was born at Fort Meade, but my family was Baltimore. Yeah.
Awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're from the same stomping ground, huh?
Hot diggity. So,
That's great.
what part of Baltimore did you live in?
I lived in Baltimore City, northwest Baltimore.
Oh, near
Yes,
Reisterstown Road?
Absolutely, right
Okay.
near Reisterstown Road.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've been here for 16 years. And for so many years, when I was about 17 or 18, I said I was going to move to Arizona. Had never been, only seen pictures, knew it was a warmer climate, and loved the mountains, loved nature, and I knew I was moving here. And that was my mantra for years until I was 31, and it manifested.
Wow, it took you 14 years to make that real, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
See, you got to have a lot of drive to
Yes.
go that long. You got to have a lot of drive to go that long, because
Absolutely.
for me, the way that I am is that I decide I might think about something for a long time. But when it comes right down to it, once I decide to do it, I have to do it. I have to do it now. And that has its own unique sort of challenges, because sometimes when you do things that way, you're not quite ready.
You're right.
And there are ramifications to that. So you came out at 31,
Yes.
and what was it that finally brought you out here?
I had a friend that moved here, and I came out to visit, and I loved Arizona.
What time of year?
February, actually.
Uh-huh.
Yes, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
It wasn't in July or August.
Everybody loves the weather in February.
Yes, absolutely. So I came out in February, and it was grand. Of course, the weather was lovely. It was not as hot as it usually is here, and I just fell in love.
That's perfect. And you said you went to Sedona and saw the snow.
Yes.
So you came from the desert where there was none.
Yes.
You went to Sedona and you saw snow. How did that hit you?
Oh my goodness. Just the beauty of Arizona, knowing that you can be in Arizona and experience snow, sun. I mean, it's amazing. You can swim, you can ski.
Yeah,
in Arizona.
we have
amazing.
all these different climates and all these
Absolutely.
different weather patterns, and it's just really marvelous. Now, you're a psychologist, right? Tell us.
No, I'm a therapist.
Therapist. Okay.
Yes.
Then expand on that. See, I get things wrong.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all
So
right.
tell us about that.
So I'm a therapist. I counsel and work with people who have behavioral health issues. I've worked in this field for over 10 years. And it's just been wonderful. But I fell in love with the geriatric population. I've worked with the geriatric population for many years. I took care of my dad for 10 years. He had Alzheimer's. And I always thought that I would be a marriage and family counselor, and ended up working in the geriatric field. So I do have a business, which is my for-profit business, Matters of Senior Living, and we provide caregiving services for the elderly, care management services. We have a fiduciary that goes out and handles seniors' estate issues with financial issues that they may have. And we also provide long-term care services as well. So it's a wonderful business. So that's something that I do
so
as
that's
well.
your secular business.
Absolutely.
But you are a woman of faith.
Yes.
Okay. Have you always been a person of faith?
Since I can remember, Gene, my father raised me in church, and I went to church as a little girl, but it took me some time to develop my own relationship with God, and that was in 1989 when I really developed my own relationship with God.
Okay,
Yes.
and that's how you got on the path to Life Matters Today.
Life, when we talk about that, you think that's when you got on but God knew, right? God knew who I was going to be and what I was going to do when I was in my mom's womb. I had no idea and had no plans to be in media. I never wanted to be. And God said I would minister to multitudes of people. And I said, well, how am I going to do that? And he said, through media. And I said, I'm totally green. I have no idea, no clue, didn't want to do it. And years later, I met up with my former assistant pastor. He told me he was on the radio, and he said, hey, have you ever thought about it? And I said, yeah, I have. God told me I would minister to multitudes of people. So
you started out ministering on radio. Okay.
6.5 years on KXXT 1010 AM, and
Perfect.
fell in love with radio.
Was it live radio or recorded?
It was live, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Live radio is a challenge, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I'm here today, and I look at what all of you are doing, and we used to do the same thing, and I love it. I miss it. I thirst and hunger for it now, even though I was kicking and screaming in the beginning.
Sometimes being in media is a marvelous thing. Sometimes it's not so much fun.
Yes.
Sometimes it has its challenges, as we did a few minutes ago
Absolutely.
with the technical issues. And I figured out, by the way, if you have a microphone with a switch and the mic starts to drift a little bit, you have to be careful not to hit the switch and turn it off. Stuff happens.
Yes.
But that's the beauty of live radio, is that I like it because it's the only real authentic type of media that you can have anymore. Anything else that's live is recorded live. And while this is being recorded and we're doing video, the broadcast is live. So if I step on my tongue, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt really bad. You're gonna know it. And so, but that's the authenticity of
Yes.
it. That's how they know they're listening to a real person and not a scripted, canned presentation. And that's personally what I love about it, is the reality of it, the realness.
Absolutely.
They call reality television what they call it. It really has nothing to do with reality, but live radio is still real.
Absolutely.
It's still what you do. So there was an evolution involved here, though. When you first got doing the radio and basically being a preacher on the radio.
A preacher? Okay.
Talk to us, preach. Talk to us. Yeah.
I'm not ordained.
And actually I was, but we won't get into that. Oh yeah,
Praise
yeah.
God.
Yeah. One of those things.
Wonderful.
May 3rd, 1994.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And anyway, that's neither here nor there for purposes of this. So when did you start doing the transition into visual media?
It was almost 2 years ago, and I first taped when I took my first missions trip to Kenya, and I taped there. And the bug bit me. God told me what I was going to do, and the bug really bit me to tape my first show while I was in Kenya, and I did. I went over with Mombasa Relief Initiative. We helped 5 different schools in Kenya. We provided clothing and school supplies for the children. And I taped when I went there, and I started taping shows once I got back. And of course, with TV, you have to put all these shows in a can, and you have to have these shows in order to present to the network, because they want to know, they want to be secure and know that you have enough material.
You have to basically have a season.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
And I remember that, back when I was a kid, a season was 22 to 24 episodes.
Yes.
And it took probably a couple of years to get that in the can, as they say,
Absolutely.
before it could even be broadcast. Over the last few years, you've had series that on broadcast television that were as few as 12. Now it's gotten down to 6.
Yeah.
And I've seen them on the different cable channels where they've got as few as 3 or 4 episodes, and that's the entire season. Somehow that strikes me as just not right. That's not a season. That's barely a infomercial.
I agree. I agree. Things have changed in media. It really has. And like we were talking about earlier, just the technical difficulties, people have become more forgiving when it comes to media. And so many people, like today where we are, we're live at a lighting company. Who would have thought we would be here taping? But this is the way technology is going and media is going. It's live. We're taping in someone's business. This is awesome. So people, I think media definitely has become more forgiving, and also you can create your platform. You can create your platform, and if you want to be on Facebook and you want to have a show on Facebook, you can.
So tell us about Life Matters Television.
Absolutely. Well, Life Matters Today television broadcast is a nonprofit. We help people that are necessitous, meaning we help people that are in need. So we go from state to state, country to country, filming shows. And my producer and I, we look for stories that are unique, stories that people have gone from tragedy to triumph, or people that are actually in need and they need something. So we're helping to provide that need at the end of the show. And we tape in different locations. So it's not just in the studio, the studio is at Huntington University, but it's not just there. It's also maybe in people's homes, in restaurants, cafes, coffee shops. We could be cooking in the kitchen, riding a bike. So different things, different ways that we capture a story. And then at the end, we provide a need for that person. So I'm going to tell you, I've been writing checks out of my pocket for years to help people. So we finally became a nonprofit, and I just pray that God will just
You have a lot of sponsors and donors
provide
now.
us. Well, we need sponsorship.
Okay. So,
we do.
how do people get a hold of you to do that?
You could send me an email, rwilliams@lifemattersministries.org. Visit my website, www.lifemattersministries.org, or give me a call, 602-770-0999.
Perfect. Roslyn, it's been an honor having you, darling.
It's been a pleasure.
It's
a
great seeing
blessing.
you again.
Good to see you,
God
Gene.
bless you.
You're so warm. God bless you. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks for
you.
being here.
Absolutely.